Something came up. "We'll celebrate another time," my family texted, one by one, on the morning of my birthday dinner. I ate alone, paid the bill, and said nothing. An hour later, I saw their selfies at my cousin's dog's birthday. That night, I canceled the rent transfer, cut off the utilities, and took the spare car key off the hook. Before I get into this story, if you like real, no BS stories about family drama and what happens when you stop letting people walk all over you, go ahead and subscribe. Trust me, you're going to want to hear how this one ends. I turned 29 last Saturday. I don't usually make a big deal out of birthdays, but this year felt different. I'd had a rough few months, burnout at work, a health scare that turned out fine but scared me more than I admitted, and just a general feeling of fading into the background. I figured maybe a quiet dinner out with my immediate family would help ground me. Something small, familiar, a comfort zone. I made a reservation for 6 at my favorite local Italian place, the one with the outdoor patio and old-school red tablecloths. I picked a time that worked for everyone and even confirmed it with them in the group chat 3 days before. I reminded them the night before, and everyone responded with some version of "can't wait." But that morning, the texts started rolling in. My younger sister said something urgent came up. Then my brother said he forgot he was double-booked. My mom said she'd been feeling off and was going to stay home to rest. One by one, they all backed out. No calls. No real explanations. Just cold, half-hearted texts. I didn't argue or ask questions. I just replied, "Okay," each time and showed up to the restaurant by myself. The hostess looked uncomfortable when I asked to change the table from 6 to 1. I ordered a meal anyway, sat there scrolling my phone, trying not to look like I cared. When the server asked if I was waiting on anyone, I told her no. I paid for my own birthday dinner, left a decent tip, and walked to the car in silence. It was about an hour later, lying on the couch at home, when I opened Instagram out of habit. My cousin had posted a story. I tapped through without thinking. There they all were, my mom, my siblings, even my aunt and uncle, laughing, holding up little party hats, smiling in front of a bone-shaped cake that said, "Happy 4th birthday, Chio." My cousin's dog. They were all at a dog's birthday party. I didn't text. I didn't call. I just stared at the screen, heart pounding in that cold, stunned way. It wasn't even anger yet. It was more like numbness. After a few minutes, I stood up, walked over to the kitchen, and took the spare car key off the hook, the one they all used when they needed to borrow it. Then I logged into my banking app and canceled the auto transfer for the rent. They've been living in my late grandfather's duplex, the one I inherited last year. I never charged full rent. Barely charged anything, really. Just enough to cover part of the mortgage. Next, I logged into the utility accounts and scheduled service cancellations for the end of the week. Water, gas, electric, all in my name. I didn't tell them. I didn't say a word. The next morning, I woke up early. Not on purpose. My body was just restless. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, thinking about how casually they had lied to me. Not just one of them, all of them. The coordination it must have taken to make up excuses and then show up smiling in selfies like it was nothing. I didn't go on a blocking spree. I didn't make a dramatic post. I didn't even mention it in the family chat. I just went about my day like everything was fine. Except everything wasn't fine, and I was done pretending. By noon, my brother texted asking if I had taken the car key. I didn't answer. Then my mom called, but I let it ring out. No voicemail. Just silence. I could tell they were starting to put things together, but they didn't want to say it out loud yet. On Tuesday, the first call from the property manager came in. He'd gotten a notice about the utilities being scheduled for cancellation and wanted to confirm it wasn't a mistake. I told him it wasn't. I also let him know I'd be giving formal notice to the tenants, my family, that they had 30 days to vacate. He paused but didn't ask questions. He knew better than to get in the middle of family business. That night, my sister showed up at my place unannounced. She knocked for a long time, then called me when I didn't open the door. I watched her from the peephole, arms crossed, bouncing slightly on her heels like she had something urgent to say, but wasn't sure how to start. She eventually left, but not before sliding a note under my door. It just said, "Can we talk?" Still, I said nothing. By Wednesday, the messages in the family group chat picked up. They weren't mad yet, just confused. Asking if something was wrong, if I was okay, if I'd meant to cancel the rent transfer. I finally replied once. I just said I was doing some reorganizing and that everyone should make other arrangements soon. Then I muted the thread. I knew this wasn't just about one missed dinner. It was years of being the fallback, the helper, the responsible one. The one they counted on to cover gaps, smooth over tension, host the holidays, and pick up the slack when things fell apart. And somehow, I still ended up eating alone on my birthday while they played dress-up with a dog. By the end of the week, the real panic set in. My mom texted me separately, saying the lights were flickering and they got a notice about the water. She asked if something was wrong with the house. I didn't reply. Instead, I sat on the patio with a coffee, enjoying the first peaceful Saturday I'd had in a long time. By Sunday, the calm I'd built for myself started to crack. Not because I felt guilty, just overwhelmed. They were relentless now. Missed calls, long texts, emojis to soften the tension. Voice notes I didn't listen to. I kept the chat muted, but I peeked now and then to see how fast the fire was spreading. My cousin posted a photo dump from the dog party. More pictures I hadn't seen yet. One of my mom holding the dog like a baby. Another of my sister posing next to a balloon arch. I wasn't tagged in anything, of course, but someone had commented asking where I was. My cousin replied that I wasn't feeling up to it. That was the story they had apparently settled on. I just didn't feel like coming. I screenshotted the comment and saved it, just in case I ever needed the reminder. Monday night, my brother finally stopped pretending to be confused and went straight to being pissed. He sent a message to the group chat saying I was being petty and that cutting utilities and rent without notice was illegal. That's when things got loud. Everyone suddenly had something to say. My sister said I was overreacting, that it was just a small thing and I was making it weird. My mom chimed in, saying she didn't realize it would hurt me that much. Said if she'd known, she would have done things differently. Not an apology, just vague damage control, like I was some wild card suddenly acting out, not the person they'd ignored until it affected their comfort. I didn't respond. I archived the chat. 2 days later, I got a call from a lawyer friend who sometimes helps with lease templates and tenant stuff. He let me know my brother had reached out to him asking about tenant protections. My friend didn't give him anything, obviously, but warned me they might start pushing back harder now that they realized I wasn't bluffing. I thanked him and sent over the notice to vacate. Clean, simple, legal. A few hours after that, my sister came by again. This time, she brought cupcakes. Knocked, waited, then sat on the stairs for almost half an hour. She called me once while she was sitting out there, then eventually left the box at the door and walked off. I brought them inside after she left, tossed them straight into the trash. There was no grand plan here. I wasn't waiting for some perfect confrontation or hoping for a dramatic apology. I just wanted the distance, the silence, a boundary they couldn't step around or talk over. And now, finally, I was watching it happen. They weren't used to me having limits. They were about to learn what it looked like. 2 weeks later, the place was half empty. I stopped by the duplex one afternoon to take measurements for new locks and check the meter readings before the utilities went dark for good. I didn't warn anyone. I just walked in using my own key. The living room still had my mom's old recliner, but most of the pictures were off the walls. A few boxes were stacked by the front door, half labeled and left open. It looked like they had started packing in a rush and then got distracted or discouraged. My brother's room was cleared out except for a mattress on the floor and a pile of laundry that clearly hadn't made the cut. The kitchen was the worst. Drawers open, sticky fridge shelves, dishes left behind like someone else would be cleaning them. No notes. No one waiting to explain anything. It was quiet in a way that didn't feel peaceful this time, just hollow. On my way out, I saw my aunt pulling up out front. She parked and got out with a forced smile, waving like everything was normal. She tried to chat casually, asking if I was planning to sell the house or move in. I told her I hadn't decided yet. She nodded and said, almost like she was offering advice, that family fights never last and that I shouldn't hold on to grudges. I didn't respond. I just locked the door and walked back to my car. That night, I finally opened the message my mom had sent the day before. It was long, mostly emotional. She said she didn't realize how hurt I'd been. That they thought I just didn't care about the party. That I'd been acting distant for a while. That they didn't think I'd want to come to a silly dog thing. She said it was never about excluding me. It just happened. No real explanation for the coordinated lies or the last-minute texts. Just a vague blanket of excuses and disappointment in how I was handling it. I stared at the screen for a long time, rereading the part where she said it just happened. Like they'd tripped and fallen into a dog party on accident. There was a time when that would have gutted me. when I would have felt guilty for not accepting it and tried to smooth things over. But I didn't feel that anymore. Not anger. Not sadness. Just tired. The power shutoff went through the next day. I got the final bill and confirmation email. Everything was out of my name. The duplex was officially empty by the weekend. They left their keys in the mailbox. Not a word. It wasn't the ending I expected. No screaming matches. No tearful apologies. Just silence again. But this time it was mine. A week after the duplex was officially empty, I changed the locks. I didn't rush it. I had a locksmith come out on a quiet Thursday morning. No ceremony. He worked fast, made small talk about the weather, handed me the new keys, and left. I stood on the porch for a while afterward, key in hand, just watching the neighborhood. The same old cracked sidewalk, the same humming from the power lines overhead. But it felt different, like something had shifted under the surface and wouldn't go back. Later that afternoon, I walked through each room with a notepad, jotting down repairs and updates I wanted to make. The place had good bones. It just needed care. Attention. Something it hadn't gotten in years. Not from them. Not even from me. I made a list: paint, flooring, kitchen cabinet replacements. I was thinking about renting it out again, properly this time. Or maybe I keep it for myself. Start fresh in a space I actually owned, without anyone treating it like theirs by default. No one in the family had reached out again. No new messages. No surprise visits. I think they finally got the message. This wasn't a phase. This wasn't me being emotional. This was the natural result of years of being treated like an option. They'd had their wake-up call. Whether they learned anything from it wasn't my concern anymore. That weekend, I made dinner for myself at home. Nothing fancy: pasta, garlic bread, a small slice of cake I picked up from the corner bakery. I lit a candle for no reason other than I felt like it. No group texts. No expectations. No fake smiles. Just me. I sat at the table alone again, but this time by choice. And it was the best birthday dinner I ever had.